Well, muzzleloader season, late muzzleloader season, starts in the morning. And so I'm going to take my poor boy out to the Quigley. Well, kind of warm out here. Let me get a little air in here for me. Anyway, come out here to the Quigley because late muzzleloader season opens in the morning. And I'll bring a rifle out here. Set it up so it'll be out here and I won't be taking it from the house out in the warm, out in the cold. And then we get there and it gets cold, taking it back out in the warmth, and it might sweat or condense a little water on the inside. So I'll just leave it out here most of the time. And next week I'll go up with Jerry and hunt with Jerry a while. And we'll have to take what we get then, but right now I can prevent some of that moisture accumulation and leave it out here in the Quigley where, if I shoot, this is probably where I'll shoot from. Really, I have no intention of shooting a doe here at the house. So, why I'm even bothered to hunt out here, I don't really know. Just simply because I can. I reckon I like it. But I'm not going to take a doe here. I've already filled my buck tag, so that part's out. But you might see a coyote or something you might want to take a shot at. Now, let me just say if you've watched any of the videos lately, I talk about Gary a lot. Well, this shooting pouch, Gary made for me probably 45 or more years ago. It's a good one. Gary passed away about a week ago. So you can rest assured I will be utilizing his shooting pouch. Certainly means a lot to me. A whole lot. Well, I'll be leaving that out here for a few days. A little more air through here. Gracious. Amazing how warm it is. I mean, Christmas next week, for heaven's sake. It's hot and it's cold in the morning. You know, A little while ago, there was a real late morning minor sowing period. And at the tail end of that sowing period, we was fooling around there at the house, and Diane said, "Oh, there's deer running all over the back field back here." And I went out and looked out the window, and does running across, and I said, "My gosh, that's rutting activity." So I fooled around there at the house, and this is more information you need, I reckon, but I run around there. I hadn't even taken a shower yet, or I'd been lazy this morning, and I was sitting there in my underwear and my flip-flops. So I grabbed a pair of binoculars, and I came out here next to the barn, and it's cool. I had to stand in the sun, you know, because of all that insulation that I didn't have on. So I was standing there in my skivvy. Man, there's a good buck. I mean, a good buck. Come down across the field. He's just loping along. And it was Whitey and her baby sister and her mama. That buck was after her. And for a solid hour, he chased those does all over his field. I mean, everywhere. In and out of the woods and around and back and forth and up and down. If I'd have been out here at the Quigley, I could spit on him. I mean, he'd come right by the Quigley several times. Good buck. And then in a little while, I looked, and here come what I thought was him when I first saw him, because you can tell it's a buck, you know, the way he was moving. He was moving about like that big buck was. And he come out, and it was a smaller buck. And he come at a pretty good lope down across the field. And when he got to the spot where that big buck had left the field and went into the woods, man, he looked like a reining horse. Man, he slid to a stop, dropped that head down to the ground, smelled around there, and he looked all around and took off. He got plumb cautious of that big buck. But anyway, I watched a lot of rutting activity this morning with a good buck. And you know what? I just now thought, why in the world didn't I pick his camera up? Go out there and video some of that. Oh boy, I wonder about me sometime. Here I've got good buck chasing around all over the place. Now I couldn't have got the close-up footage that I could have got by out here quickly, but I could have got some real good footage of a real nice buck chasing the daylights out of does. But I didn't. Oh well. Sometimes I just sit and marvel at myself. A friend of mine years ago said, "Sometimes I just sits and thinks, and other time I just sits." That fits me at times. I wasn't sitting. I was standing there in my underwear, but I sure wasn't thinking straight. I went and got a camera. As it turned out, I mean, I had an hour of good buck chasing doe. Just had to take my word for it, because I sure didn't get it on SD card or anything. My gosh, what a pretty day. Talked to Jerry just a few minutes ago, and I told him I would probably come out and hunt the Quigley a little bit in the morning, because I got that doe that I have on video, the doe hunt. I gotta work that doe up tomorrow. I worked the first buck up yesterday, and then I gotta work the doe up tomorrow. Then I gotta work the big buck up Monday. So that's 21 days in a cooler for each one of them. And I put them on ice in a cooler, leave them for 21 days, and then work them up. Let them age a little bit. And last night from that first buck, I took a roast out, which would be the sirloin, the muscle, the big pretty muscle in the hind quarter. It's pretty, but it's generally pretty tough. And I fixed a roast. I roasted that thing a particular way, a particular recipe that a fella gave me a few years ago. And let me tell you, my gosh, that thing's supposed to be the toughest, one of the toughest muscles in a deer. It just fall apart, melt in your mouth. It was good. It was good. Had some jalapeno in it, and a little bit of the jalapeno juice, out of a can of jalapeno. Some of that in it, a little cayenne pepper and black pepper and what have you, and a marinade, and cooked it for about 3.5 hours. Let it sit and cool off, and sliced it this morning. Oh my, it's good. It's good. But anyway, late muzzleloader season opens tomorrow. So I'll be back tomorrow and just sit around the fields a while and see what we can see, I reckon. Then after Monday, after I work that other deer up, we've got 3 weeks of muzzleloader season, late muzzleloader season coming up. So we've got plenty of time to hunt. The main thing I want to do is fill a doe tag or 2. Like I said, I'll be going up Jerry's, or his nephew, or his place one. They got a lot more deer than I do. I don't have great numbers of deer, but boy, I've had some nice deer. I mean, the past 15 years, I've got 2 good bucks every year. This year was no exception. But if you're going to get good bucks, you have to be willing to pass on the smaller bucks. You have to be willing to accept, well, if I don't see one that I'd like to take a nice buck, then I might end this season with nothing. I mean, that has to be your attitude. But this year, I mean, for the last 15 years, I've got good bucks. Even though you'll say, well, if it's not a good, and I'm not going to get it. I mean, that happens. It does happen occasionally, but it happened to my brother this year. He held out for a good buck, and he said, I'm going to get a good buck or nothing. And so far, he's got nothing. But he did have 2 good bucks come by. One of them, he couldn't get it. He just couldn't get on. He just couldn't get on it. The bucket he wanted, he couldn't get on. And another one, he shot at, and he's a darn good shot. And what happened, nobody knows. Couldn't find any hair or any blood or anything. I mean, if that boy's taking a shot at you, you're in trouble. So how that deer got by, I don't know, but they said he couldn't find a hair or anything. In spite of everything, I think he probably hit that daggum buck. Good chance that the coyotes got him. I just can't believe Brother Doug missed that buck. It's possible. It's possible. But it ain't probable. Well, I'm gonna close the Quigley back up. I'm going to close the Quigley back up for Till in the morning. Talk to you in the morning. Yeah, it is opening morning of late muzzleloader season. And I'm back out here in the Quigley, but I sort of wonder why sometimes. It's been a few days since I've been out here. And a few more ladybugs, horse flies managed to work their way in. Sweep them up a little bit. There are a few of them laying around. Get kind of crunchy when you walk on them. You get out here and die and freeze. Like little ice pebbles, you know. Anyway, get them out of the way. But it's opening day. Late 2023 muzzleloader season. But I am not, I have no intentions of trying to shoot a deer. I've already got my limit of bucks for this year, nice bucks. And doe season don't start for a few more days. And I have no desire to shoot a doe out here at this farm. I am going to literally try, give it a good go to get at least one, maybe two more does for this season for laying a good supply of meat. That good looking woman of mine, now we eat a lot of venison, a lot of deer, we eat a lot of meat. And I didn't put up a beef this year. Really didn't figure like I needed that. But we're a little, that of course put us a little bit low in the meat department. So we eat a lot of fish, a lot of wild game, and some beef that we raise here on the farm. So that shot was coming from over at the gun club. It wasn't a muzzleloader. Anyway, I'd like to put up a good supply of meat. It is cold this morning. The sun hasn't worked its way down to the Quigley yet. So I've got the little buddy heater going. It's cold in here. And where the sun comes down, it melts that heavy frost. And there's a heavy frost now. It's kind of like a snow. What I'm doing out here today, even though it is opening day of the muzzleloader season, I'm certainly not going to deer hunt. I'm not going to hunt. I'm not going to shoot anything. I have no intention of shooting anything. But if a coyote comes by or something, I'll take a pot at him. But one of the main things is yesterday, during that late morning minor solar period, my gosh, there was some fantastic rutting activity, chasing activity, good buck chasing does all over the place, come right by the quick several times. I could probably spit on him if I'd been out here, but like I said, I was back at the house. Never dawned on me to get out the camera. So I got out the camera now. That's the main thing I've done, got out. And we'll sit around out here and anything that I'm going to shoot today, I'm going to be shot with camera. That's it. So I'm going to sit around and sip on coffee a little bit. Watch the fields and see what we can see. I said that frost this morning. It's kind of like a light snow out there. Heavy frost. My little buddy heater's making a real difference in here this morning. A good swig of coffee don't hurt nothing either. I didn't look at the thermometer to see what the temperature really was, but it is cold. Anyway, my plan is to kind of maybe stay out here at about noon or so, close to noon. Then I go back to the house. I've got another deer to work up. The deer that I got on Doe Day, the video on Doe Day, got to work that one up. Today it's been in the cooler agent for 21 days, so gotta get that done. That won't take too long. Not going to grind any of it, but come Monday we got the big buck to work up. And I'll grind him up mostly into sausage, so that'll take a while. Sure make some good eating up. A little bit of moisture in the sky. The jets are leaving pretty good contrails. First deer just came out. First deer. Let's get some footage of that. You reckon that Durham buck could be with her? Of course, she could be waiting on her youngins, but I don't know. Where's my binoculars here? Oh no, that's a little buck. That ain't Whitey's mom. That's a little buck. Little spike buck. And that little find her here, huh? He's been here before. He gonna go under the fence. That little buck did just exactly what I thought he'd do. He came out of the woods there on the left. He just went through the woods. He's headed toward the food plot. I don't know if he's going to, well, I said he was. And he decided to, for some reason or other, to go back the way he came. I'm not sure he's interested in food this morning. I think he's interested in the girls. We meant to figure out what he's doing. He was over there by the... Whoop. Yeah, pretty to watch. The little buck is right there, up on top of this hill. The does and over here there's one, and the others, well, there's both of them actually. Two does are there. Buck is up here. You know, this is the first day of the late muzzleloader deer season. But I'm out here in the Quigley and I got a muzzleloader. But I ain't muzzleloader deer hunting. Like I said, I'm not gonna take a deer here at all. But a little later in the season I will go up country a little ways and really try to get a doe or two. But today I'm sitting out here just enjoying being out. That's as simple as that. Just enjoying being out. I got this camera ready in case I see deer, and I'll video a little bit of deer, video whatever I see of interest as far as that goes. There's some turkeys over there. There goes my coffee. There went part of my coffee, for heaven's sake. Well, I hate to lose my coffee. I shouldn't have been setting it up on top of the sandbag either. But I did. Anyway. Like I said, the muzzleloader season is open on deer, but bear season is also open. So while here at the Quigley, like I said, I know I'm not going to take a deer, period. I'm limited out on bucks, and I'm not going to take doe here. I just don't have enough does here, so I'm definitely not going to take a deer. But bear season is open. So I'm going to set out what time I'm going to spend out here in Quigley. I'm going to be bear hunting. Yeah. I like taking long shots, you know. That's what the Quigley's named for, because, you know, the movie, old Tom Selleck movie, Quigley Down Under, it featured long-range shooting. So when I built my shooting house here, I set it up sort of in the center of the farm here, and it's set up for long-range shooting, basically. So that's where I got the name or idea of calling it the Quigley, because of the long-range proposition. So the bears, I haven't put out a trail camera in God, several years, many years since I put out a trail camera, but on trail camera I've got quite a few pictures of bears here on the farm. And I even had a bear on my front porch. Got up one morning, there's a bear on the front porch investigating all the furniture out there, and he walked off down here in the creek bottom. I had 2 archery targets set up, foam archery targets set up down there. And he got down there, he proceeded to beat the snot wad down my archery targets till I hollered at him, told him quit. He looked up there at me and he just walked off. We actually came out here and walked around the Quigley. We're right up here at the top of the high hill. And he got up there, he just stood up on his hind legs, turned around and left. I've had several bears out here. I mean, it's bear country, for heaven's sake, but I have not had one come by during bear season at all. It's always before or after the bear season. I've never had one here during the bear season. I've seen a pile of bears in my life, and I'd like to get one. But that crazy streak has got to end one of these days. Every bear that I see, it's either season open next week or closed last week or something like that. What few bears that I have actually seen during the season have been off at a distance, well off at a distance, through the woods, and they're moving at a high rate of speed and not a chance of getting a shot at them. Where I'm standing on one ridge and they're over on the other ridge, and you can see them over there hundreds of yards away, moving along, but you ain't got a prayer of a shot. I've had bears so close I could just reach down and touch them. I mean, they almost brushed my leg as they went by. Had one that close. Had one about 5 feet from me one time. Had another one about 10 feet from me. Oh. Like I said, so close, let's say 1 foot away from me. 5 foot, 10 foot, and on out to whatever. Never when they're legal. So, while I'm just enjoying, more or less just enjoying life and sitting around out here and enjoying the fall, while the hunting season open, get out and enjoy it. So I'm out here technically bear hunting, I reckon is what you'd say. Yeah, that's a long shot. But it is a possibility. They are certainly here. And one of these days, one of them's going to show up when I can get a shot at here. Just like the other day when we was up there at Al's place, bear come right by Gilmer. He come back up when he had to go home, so he come drive, when he's side by side, come up through the woods there, and Hagee standing there talking to him, and he'd already called Hagee and said that there was a bear come by his stand and told me where it's going. Of course, I went off and tried to cut it off. Of course, I didn't see it. And, I didn't get it. Didn't even see it or anything else. But Gilmer come up there and he talking about that bear. He was talking about that bear. He said, I got to looking at him and I thought, well, what would I do with that bear anyway? And I said, well, you could eat him, render him down and make bear grease out of him. There's a lot of stuff you can do with it. And he just looked at me kind of funny and he said, then I got to think, well, I don't even have a bear tag. I said, Gilmer, you don't need a bear tag. He looked at me kind of funny, like, if you just get off a boat or something. I said, well, let me ask you something. I said, are you over 65? Of course, I knew how old he was. He said, well, I'm 77. I said, then you don't, I said, you're over 65. And well, I'm 77. I said, you live in this county? He said, yeah. I said, well, then you don't have to have a license. You don't have to have any license, any tags or nothing else. He looked at me like, what are you talking about? Actually, he even said, what do you mean? I said, if you're over 65, you don't have to have a license to hunt in the county of your residence. Now, if you go out of your county, you got to have a license. He said, well, I just bought $56 worth of licenses. I said, well, you didn't need to. You just wasted $56 because you didn't need to buy those licenses. I said, but you look at Jerry there. He's bought licenses, recently bought lifetime licenses, hundreds of dollars and all that kind of stuff. And he didn't even know that as a landowner, you don't have to have a license regardless of your age if you hunt on your own land. He hunts his farm, and which is in the same county that we're hunting up there, which his nephew's farm's in. Jerry don't have to have a license either because he's hunting on his own land. He don't have to have a license hunting on his own land, and he don't have to have a license hunting on his nephew's land because he's over 65 and in the same county. I said, it might pay you boys to read the laws once in a while. And there's that's baby sister. I don't know where Mama's at, but that's a fawn of the year. It's definitely baby sister. So I don't know where the three regulars are Whitey, baby sister, and their mom. I don't know where Whitey's at. I don't know where Mom's at. That's baby sister right there. Anyway, I said, you boys need to pay me here for all the money I'm going to save you. Quit buying those licenses you don't need. I said, it pay you to read the game laws once in a while. Hey, Gilmer just looked at me like, I don't know about that. So we stood up there. One of the few things that's nice about this modern age is we stood there and got a phone, looked up the Division of Wildlife, and pulled up the regulations and went over to license exemptions, and right there it was. Well, of course, the battery died. Put a new battery on it. But anyway, if you're over 65, you don't have to have a license, not in your county of residence. you boys might want to spend a little time looking at the rules and regulations. Both of them been buying licenses. The only place they hunt is those two places, you know, and then their own counties and stuff. Oh, they've been buying licenses every year. Starts when he's 65, Gilmer's 77, Jerry's 72. So look at all the money that they've donated to the state that they didn't have to. Oh, my goodness. Anyway, well, baby sister's still up there, and still don't see any other. And I don't see my turkey. There's a big old flock of turkeys over here. I started to set the camera upon them for whatever reason. All of a sudden they turned tail and went running back up through the woods. I have no earthly idea what spooked them. But this time yesterday, there was a big buck chasing does all over this place. Where he's at today, but he's not here. He's not here right now, anyway. Well, just keep a looking till Diane gets here. If she gets back from the grocery store, I reckon we'll start working up that doe that I got on last doe day. Diane just called. She's almost home from the grocery store, so I'll leave the Quigley and go over there and help her get the groceries in, and then we're going to start on the second deer that we got this year. It's been aging for 21 days, so we'll go work it up this afternoon. And all depending, I may or may not come back out and bear hunt this afternoon here on the farm. Anyway, let's go to the house for a while. After I came back down to the house, the buck shows up. I could have got some good footage of him. He'd have showed up a little sooner. While I was out there in the Quigley, he'd been right on top of me. I'm just I wished I had a tripod set this thing up, but I don't. Well, I'm back out for the last few minutes of legal shooting hours. We got that second deer all worked up. And while we were working that deer up, there was a good buck out here in the field. I stayed out here most of the morning, see what I could see. Bear maybe, hopefully. Anyway, I figured just, I'd make my mind if a deer come by, it's going to video it and just, I ain't deer hunting, I'm bear hunting, but it is muzzleloader deer. But it ain't doe days yet, but doe days for muzzleloader deer come up pretty soon. And I'll get with Hagee, we'll go up country and hunt up in there try to get us another doe or two. But today I'm just enjoying the season. Enjoying the last few days of fall. Winter's just around the corner. Just a day or two off. Like I said, one of these days a bear's going to show up right here on this farm during bear season. So my reason for being out here in the Quigley is I'm bear hunting. As many of us been around. One of these days, one of them's going to come up when there's this season. Forever optimistic. I'm going to get me that bear here. Oh, I was hunting up Jerry's nephew. And when a bear came right by, Gilmer's stand, which put him, he was just, that bear, a couple hundred yards or so from me, maybe 200-300 yards. Headed right over into the hollow that we were at the head of. He come by Gilmer, why didn't he come by me? Gilmer didn't shoot at him, I surely would. Oh well. Now I'm going around several farms around here that don't like bears and have bears. Not when they, come on up and shoot one of these bears. I go up and we never see a bear. That's going to change. Hopefully. Right here, and very soon. But it is looking downright cloudy. In fact, I think it's supposed to, I'll check my weather app and look, I believe it's supposed to be rainy next couple of days. Then turn off cold and maybe even get a little snow. And squiggly decorations. Timer. One of them came on. Look over at the house, and they're all on in the windows in the house. So I reckon this second will fire up here in a minute. That woman is a Christmas decorator. She's a jewel. Yeah, sit around here a few more minutes, see what happens. Getting about time to head over to the house. Pretty much closed legal shooting hours, so I believe I'll just be smart, head to the house.